This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Hi, my name is Igor Kafetz, and this is The List Building Lifestyle, the only podcast which delivers cutting-edge conversion strategies from the online trenches straight to your earbuds. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. I also invite you to grab a free copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. And now, once again, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle.
Welcome back to another edition of the List Building Lifestyle Show. Here is the daddy of solo ads, Mr. Igor Kafetz.
And daddy's got a brand new bag.
Nice. So what's up, Igor? What do we have today for the list builders?
Jonathan, I know you're not buying solo ads right now, but if you were, you could be overpaying by as much as 50% for the solo ads you're buying. Like unnecessarily overpaying. Seriously.
Isn't that just if I were to buy solo ads from the people who are just buying them from you and reselling?
But that is exactly that. I mean, it seems to you like common sense because we've been chatting about this, but brokering is a huge freaking issue in the solo ad space. A lot of times when you're thinking you're working with a solo provider that's charging a lot of money because he's quote unquote quality, what is actually happening, they're putting up a huge margin on their clicks in order to successfully resell those clicks to other solo ad providers that are charging less than they do, providers that you yourself can easily reach by Googling the term solo ads or by going on a Facebook group or something. In fact, there's specific groups, like, there's Facebook groups that are designed for the buyers and sellers to come in and kind of, buy and sell clicks, right? And those are usually about 20,000 people big, and there's some collaboration going on, like some customer versus seller relationship. Now, there's other groups where there's only sellers, and they hang out there and resell clicks to each other. So you often see somebody coming in is like, I got 1,000 clicks I need to be sent today or tomorrow, like pronto, and here's what I'm willing to pay. Usually that's because they just sold a package and now they're looking for people to resell it to. So, without even knowing, you may be overpaying from as little as 10, 20% to as much as 50% to, people that are not solo providers. So there's actual difference between somebody who's a solo provider and a solo broker. Now, this is not to say that all solo brokers are bad people. Not at all. In fact, some solo brokers are super freaking cool and they got legit clicks. Now, the difference between a legit broker and not a legit broker is that a legit broker actually says, hey, we're a solo broker and we have publishers, they call them publishers, that are able to deliver traffic for you. And so what you do, you buy traffic from them knowing that there's a markup in the whole transaction because they're a broker, but you get the benefit of having unique clicks. For example, my friend Harris Feldman from Traffic for Me is a guy like that who brokers clicks, but he's legit. He's legit, and you should work with him. You should reach out to him. He's got several tiers of different types of publishers, and there's lower quality, there's higher quality, there's lower price, there's higher priced. But Harris is always making the same markup, which is actually not that big, in my opinion. And I've told him that from each transaction. But that's an honest way to do it, right? Most solo brokers are fucking shady. They're really giving all of us a bad name.
Now, Igor, how are they giving you guys a bad name? If they're reselling your traffic, even if they're marking it up, how does that affect you as the actual solo ad provider?
Well, the thing is that while they do sell other people's traffic, okay, and just for the record, I just want to tell you that nobody resells our clicks. What happens is we have an affiliate program where we allow our people to promote the agency, but we never allow people to directly sell our clicks just like that because we want to review your offer, we want to make sure it's a good fit. Without it, we simply refuse to do business with you. Now, the way a broker gives a bad name to solo ad providers in general is because if something goes wrong, if the traffic isn't quality, if anything goes wrong, the broker is usually not taking responsibility. And what happens is they really do a bad job of their customer service, and they're never brokering your clicks based on the quality. They never kind of break down their publisher list. No, they just go for the cheapest freaking dude or dudette that is willing to send clicks that day. That's it. You're basically gambling. You're playing Russian roulette with your advertising dollars. That's what you're doing when you're using broker.
That's interesting, man. And so you recommended one broker, but is it really better to go through brokers, or is it better to go direct to the person selling the actual traffic?
Now, from a Jewish standpoint, of course, it's better to go directly to the person selling, simply because you're talking to the source. There's no middleman. You're not overpaying for anything, unless, of course, you're overpaying for something else when you work with that person, right? However, brokers do have their benefits. Like if you're working with somebody like Harris, for instance, and he's probably the only broker I would ever recommend. And if you do want to get a discount, you should actually contact us and get a link from us. We have a special affiliate link that allows you to get a special offer with Harris. Just hit us up at support@igorsolidz.com for that. So if you're working with Harris, for example, the benefit of doing that is because he understands the quality of the traffic from different publishers. And when you show him your offer, he will tell you, okay, for this offer, I'd use this dude. And for this offer, I would use this person. Like that would be the conversation you'd have with Harris. He'd know who is best to promote your offer. Now, but that's the only benefit, and only if you're working with a legit broker. Otherwise, you should go directly to the sources, and you should always test before you scale. That's why I always recommend getting anywhere between 3 to 500 clicks per order with a solid provider, because it gives you a really clear idea of the kind of list you're dealing with. For example, if the provider can't handle a 500 click order, that means their list isn't even big enough for you to consider. You can't even scale that, so you don't do business with them. If you run 100 clicks instead of 500, then it's not enough data, because you could have hit a really small segment that worked well and the rest is crap. So there's all these things, and you should definitely test directly as your first option. But should you work with brokers? Like I said, only with legit brokers like Harris. And I understand it seems that I'm kind of pushing Harris here, but honestly, guys, I'm a realist about the fact that if you're buying traffic from me, you're buying traffic from other sources. I don't think you should ever stick to one traffic source as your marketing strategy. That's just not smart. Okay, so if you're buying with other sources, I'd suggest you check Harris out. Okay, I'd suggest you check him out because he's legit. He's not going to scam you. He's going to send you good clicks. Not sure about your conversions because it depends on your offer and everything else, but he's a legitimate business person to work with, and he's honest about the fact that he's broken your order to a traffic provider. That's his business. He's been in business for probably longer than I have, I think more than a decade now. He's been in this business. Everybody knows him. You mention his name, people say, oh yeah, I know Harris. So he's a legit dude. So if you're considering a broker, go and work with Harris. But again, I highly recommend going directly to the sources. Okay, no middleman, directly to the sources, and you'll get better deal, you'll get better quality. You'll basically be talking to the person who owns the list. This is a big deal.
It's interesting. I just spent a couple days in a mastermind, and there was people from Agora there, and that's actually how they do a lot of their initial stuff, or when they're scaling, is they actually talk to list brokers, and they gave us a couple different list brokers, but they do the same thing. Give me a list of these kinds of people who bought this kind of product in the last 30 days. That's who I want to mail to, and they're able to do that. So I wonder, are these solo ad brokers able to give that same quality or that same granularness to the clicks they're selling?
No, usually it's not possible. Usually they are able to give you like an approximation of interest, but not that detailed. And now just to clarify, the brokers you're mentioning, are these direct mail brokers or email brokers?
This is, I think it goes, the main stuff that we were talking about was direct mail. So like Macromark and the other big guys in the direct mail game.
Right. So in that case, when it comes to direct mail, and I'm sure that Ben Settle and Doberman Dan will back me up on this if they actually listen to my show, that in direct mail, you better be working with a broker. You better be. Otherwise, you're dead in the water. But with email, with solo ads specifically, it pays to go direct. There's less of a need to try and use a broker.
Yeah. So When you're selling these packages of clicks, what do you look for from your buyers? Like, how do you get them the best traffic is my question.
Oh, that's a good question. Really, it really depends. But if we break it down to general terms, I would say that the biggest impact comes from segmentation. And we mentioned this quite a few times now on the show, where emotional engagement with the offer, not just the targeting, is really, really important. And so, my best traffic, the kind of traffic that the other day, a friend of mine, his name is Brian Edison, labeled as the best cold traffic that he ever purchased, that is something I attribute to emotionally engaging my clicks on a level that no other solid provider is willing to do.
Yeah, I got to argue here though, because I don't believe that what you're selling is cold traffic. There's no way because you've already done some vetting. So isn't it really like at least lukewarm traffic?
Yeah, you can say that. You can say it's lukewarm traffic, lukewarm silhouettes. Doesn't sound as well on a banner ad, but yeah, you can say that for sure. But when he says cold traffic, cold is anything that he buys, right? Cold is anything he pays dollars for clicks. If he's talking about JV traffic, which is another big portion of his business, his joint venture traffic, people who are investing a lot of time to warm their lists and to warm their audiences, get with people on the phone sometimes, and that sort of level. Because we don't call up the email lead on the phone. We're like, we're gonna send you something. I mean, it's the best thing ever, and we just call to tell you. We don't do any of that. But when it comes to joint venture traffic, usually, just like we mentioned in one of the previous episodes about the buyer list and affiliate marketing, right? GV traffic is often better than anything cold you can ever buy. But the downside is when you get started, you don't have access to that JV traffic, and any JV traffic ever is always limited. Like there's no unlimited pool, right? There's no giant pool of JV traffic. It is always severely limited. The higher it is, the less it is, because it's kind of like climbing up the mountain. So when it comes to scaling on JV traffic alone is really, really difficult. That's why people who are involved in the launch game, when they launch info products, and
Yeah.
kind of they have to do it every month. They have to launch a new thing every month because they need the same joint venture partners that promoted them last month to mail again.
That sounds very unfun to me. So, Igor, I got maybe a personal question here. And it sounds like for JVs you do it, but when you're selling solos, are you ever selling ads to your buyers list?
Sometimes the last time I did it, I received a testimonial from my friend who has a giant team in a company called Carrot Bars, which is a business opportunity that promotes financial education by showing you and helping you invest in gold. So you're basically building up your savings in gold and not in money, so it doesn't deteriorate over time. So I sent out a promo to my buyer list for him, and he paid for that, just so I remember, because it was 2 years ago. I think it was $450. I got him only 200 clicks, but he made 10 grand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's really hard. Like, you really have to make me an offer I can't refuse to get me to mail to my buyers list. It's virtually impossible to do. I need to know that, first off, the product is super top notch. It has to be a world class product. You need to have a world class funnel. You'll need to create a custom offer just for my buyers. Like, I'm working out an offer with a friend of mine who has an email marketing program, and we actually going back and forth for about 3 weeks now, and he's a pretty famous person. Like, he's an established marketer. We're going back and forth because he needs to craft an offer that is the absolute best fit with my buyers for me to promote it. So the buyers list right now is off limits to just a plain old solo ad. And how this is funny. It's funny that you mentioned the buyers list, because a lot of marketers out there, the ones who sell solo, especially the shady people, they're like, buy my buyers clicks. Right? They're like selling 200 clicks from their usual list and supposedly 200 clicks from their buyers list. That's bullshit. They don't have a buyers list. They don't have a buyers list that can produce that. Are you kidding me? It takes years to build it. It takes years to build a buyers list big enough to get several hundred clicks. I had this. Remember I told you about that promotion I've done for Daniel Levis?
Yeah.
So that promotion, I've done it over the course of, I believe, 3 or 4 days. Okay. And I mailed more than 10 times over the course of those days. and all I could pull was only 900 clicks from that list.
Only. Got it.
Yeah, only. I mean, what is 900 clicks, Jonathan? What is 900 clicks? It's nothing.
Not a lot in your
It's
game.
nothing. My average order is 500 clicks. Yeah, but 900 clicks is all I was able to pull from it because it is small. It is fairly small, but it packs a punch. So a buyer's list is worth having, and it's your most precious asset. I can't stress this hard enough.
Yeah, I brought you back into that. But what are some other things, or is there any other tips you want to give us in using the brokers for solo ads versus going straight to Igor solo ads?
Yeah, another thing that's a really big benefit when you're dealing directly with a person who sells the solo ads is oftentimes you can get them to lower their price because the broker is already operating on a very slim margin, and for them to give you a discount, it's like chopping their right arm off. It's virtually impossible. So when you're talking to the person that owns the list, you have way more margin for that sort of stuff. So again, you're not only paying more, but you can't really get them to lower their prices. There's just so many benefits dealing directly with the person selling rather than going to a broker. But here's the thing, Jonathan, it's not really a question of who do I deal with, the broker or the vendor. The point that I was trying to make since the beginning of this episode was that the brokers, the shady brokers, do not tell you they broker traffic. That's the thing. They never tell you that. They understand that if they say that they're brokers, they will not get any business because anyone with a brain understands how to get a solid provider. You just go to one of those. I mean, we have an episode about that. You should Google that, like 9 places you can buy solo ads at, or nine solo ad hotspots you need to check out. So that's all you have to do, right? But the broker, the shady broker, does not tell you he or she is a broker. That's why also these same people will start fly-by-night accounts, like I call them, right? They'll start a Facebook account that is called something like John Glick's Solo Ads.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
See those all the time, yeah.
Right? They add you as a friend because you took interest in solo ads, or you're a member of some group or something, and they'll try to sell you solo ads. But trust me, those are the brokers. Those are the people that have no list. And actually, I've just released a training which you can get at igorsolis.com, HTBS. Okay, that's 4 letters, HTBS. igorsolis.com/HTBS. You can get a training where I give you 7 questions to ask a solo ad provider to determine whether or not you should work with them. Because a couple of those questions will put the broker in a position where they will have to give it up. They will have no choice but to give it up. They will have to either tell you that, yes, I broker your traffic, and at the very least give you a really sweet deal, or they will simply disappear. I promise you, that's exactly what's going to happen. When they'll figure out that they're talking to somebody who understands the game, they will either disappear if they're shady, or they will admit that they're brokering your clicks. And then you can make a wise decision, an informed decision based on whether or not you want to work with them.
All right, igorsoloads.com/HTBS. Is that where they go?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And so really quickly, because we're going a little long here, episode number 158 is where Igor talks about 9 places where you can buy solo ads. So anything else, or can we wrap this one up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up because I think we made the point. The point is you may be overpaying for your traffic, and it pays to take the time to understand the difference between a broker and a vendor.
Excellent. So that is a wrap for another List Building Lifestyle Show. We'll be back in your earbuds next time. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for listening to the List Building Lifestyle. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to never miss an episode. Because who knows, just one conversion tactic we share on the show might double your list and double your business. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. And don't forget to claim your complimentary copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. This is Igor Kafetz, and until next time we talk, have a good one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.